You know, everyone in here is a saint, right? Amen. And I know when we go around and trying to tell somebody what to do, they say, "Oh, you think you're a saint?" You ought to say, "I know I'm a saint." Amen. Because a saint is a sinner saved by grace. Amen. So I'm going to dive straight to the text this morning as time is moving along. But if you're a saint of God, let us stand to our feet for our faith affirmation. We're going to follow our morning scripture reading this morning. You know, God had the word this morning, hearing all the praise reports and hearing everything what's going on. The Sunday school lesson is all tied in. Amen. Our faith affirmations, let us all read together. If you don't know where it's at, it's on the screen up front. Amen. Let us read together. It says, "I am crucified with Christ. Nevertheless I live, yet not I, but Christ that lives in me. And the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by the faith of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. And because of Christ's love, I too walk in love, as Christ also hath loved me and hath given himself for me." Amen. Our scripture will be coming out of Genesis chapter 32, verses 24 through 30, with our key verse, verse 25. Genesis chapter 32, verse 24 through 30. And it reads, "And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. And he said, Let me go, for the day breaketh," which is saying it's the morning time now, the sun is coming up. He said, "I will not let thee go, except thy bless me." And he said unto him, "What is thy name?" And he said, "Jacob." And he said, "Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For a prince has thy power with God and with man, and has prevailed." And Jacob asked him and said, "Tell me, I pray thee, thy name." And he said, "Wherefore is it that thou doest act after my name?" And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the name of that place Peniel, "For I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved." Amen. Amen. He said, "I've seen God face to face, and my life has been preserved." Because see, you couldn't come in contact and see God's face and not live. Amen. Amen. So this morning, I'd like to speak to you all from a title called "A New Location." A new location. Have anybody in here ever been to a place that you call a new location? Yes. I have too. Now, the reason you call it a new location is because you've never been there before. It's a place of unfamiliarity. You know, so this morning I'd like to speak to you about two different locations. One is called dislocation. And then the other one is called relocation. Okay, a new location. One is dislocation and one is relocation. Have anybody in here ever dislocate anything on your body? We know that when we dislocate something on our body, that means that it's out of place. It means to be put out of its proper relative position. So in other words, it's to be displaced. You know, and I remember in high school when I broke my ankle, my bone was out of place. And immediately I had to go to the hospital, and when I got to the hospital, they told me that I had to wait till the swelling goes down, and once the swelling goes down, we can put that which is out of place back into place, because it was broken. And so I had to wait. Once the swelling went down, I went back to the hospital, and I had to step on a stool to make my bone go right back in place. And they would put a cast on it so that it healed properly while it's in place. And I had to wear a cast for 6 weeks to keep it aligned so that it heals properly, because it was out of place. But if I had not went to the doctor, then it probably wouldn't have healed properly. So that which was dislocated had to be relocated to its original position. Anyone in here know about relocating? We know about dislocation now. We know about relocating. You see, to relocate means to move to a different location. You see, some of us, we relocate from our jobs to another job. Some of us, we relocate from our house to another house. You know, some of us, we relocate from our jobs into another, well, we relocate to another position that's on our job. But there's a difference between dislocation and relocation. You can tell the difference because one thing is that the difference between dislocation and relocation is that when something is dislocated, it's not done willingly. It's not done willingly. I don't know about you, but have anyone in here ever dislocate something on your body on purpose? Have you dislocate something willingly? Because it's something that we don't do willingly. It's something that happens by accident or it happens by force. But relocation, on the other hand, is different. Relocation is when you relocate something willingly. You see, just recently, I have an office in my home, and I relocated my office and took it out of my bedroom and put it downstairs in the garage. You see, I have a 5-bedroom home, but 1 bedroom I use for my office. But my mother-in-law moved in because she got sick, and I willingly relocated my office to the garage. So I willingly picked up everything. I wasn't forced out. I moved willingly. Right. Another thing about relocation is it means to put something back to where it belongs. You see, when my bone was broken, I willingly stepped on the stand so that they can relocate my bone back to its rightful position, which lets me know that sometimes things are dislocated to be put back in the right place. Yeah. Let me say that again. Dislocated to be put in the right place. You get dislocated to get relocated. Anybody ever use a navigator for directions in here? And you're going a route and you make a wrong turn, and guess what? Your navigator starts to tell you wrong turn, and it starts to relocate. It starts to recalculate so that it can relocate and get you back on a position of where you're supposed to be. He's relocating so you go to where you need to be going. So you see, sometimes things are dislocated to put you in the right place. But there are times when we ignore relocating that which was dislocated, and we ignore it and we want to let it just heal on its own. Well, when you let it heal on its own, if you don't take care of that which is dislocated, then it's going to heal in the wrong position. It heal in the wrong position, it heal broken, and the only way to fix it, you're going to have to break it again. So see, you let this bone heal wrong in all your life. You done went 10 years with the same spot that you never got taken care of. And then when it came to fix it, you went to the doctor, and the doctor said, I can fix it, but it's going to be painful. I might have to put you to sleep because I got to break it again to put it back where it came from. I have to relocate that which was dislocated. I got to put it back in the right spot. And right now, some of you may be suffering from things in your life that's been dislocated, but you didn't take the time to relocate it where it first was broken. All right. Therefore, you didn't heal correctly, and now to deal with the pain, you've been pacifying it with alcohol. You've been putting bandages on it with drugs. You've been covering it up with having multiple women. You've been covering it up with having multiple men. You've been dealing with it with aggression because you never dealt with the pain. You never dealt with where you hurt it at. You let it go on and you let it heal on its own, and it's been dislocated all this time. So now God has said, I got to break you again. I got to break you down so I can heal you and fix you back up. And now it's time to went on. You want to make it right, and you want to get it right. Well, I got news for you. You have to be broken again. You have to be broken again so that God can put it back in place. I'm talking about dislocated to be put in the right place. That's right. And now this morning, we will see the significance of Jacob's hip being placed out of place. His hip, the Bible says that it was put out of joint. Our text says, and Jacob was left alone. And there he wrestled with a man. With a man wrestled with him until the breaking of day. And the scripture says, and when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. Now you don't have to understand English to see that our text picks up with something that say and. And by saying and Jacob was left alone, something previously happened to build up to where our story takes place. That's right. So what was going on here, previously, we know the story of Abraham. If you've been in Sunday school, Abraham, God has said that you're going to be blessed. Yeah. And he told him that your seeds is going to be unnumberable. He said, as a sand in the beach, you won't be. That's how your seed is going to be amongst the earth. He said, within thy seed will all the nations of the earth be blessed. Then he told Abraham, you're going to have these kids, and here come Abraham having Isaac. And God also told Isaac how he will be with him and bless him. God told Isaac he will perform the same oath which he swore to his father. How he will make his seed to multiply as the stars of the heaven, and will give unto his seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. Now watch this. Some years later, Isaac's wife gave birth to some twins. She gave birth to Esau and Jacob. And now Esau came out first. And Esau that came out first, he was the one that was supposed to get the birthright because he was the first child. So the father was supposed to pass the birthright down to Esau. But if you know the story, we know that Esau was a man's man. He was a father's boy, and Jacob was a mother's boy. And the mother told Jacob, Jacob was one that was in a house with the mother, and the mother eavesdropped and heard that the father is going to bless his first child. But she wanted her child to be blessed because, they both was her child, but she favored Jacob more than Esau. So she told the twins, she said, Jacob, I want you to go out there and get the sheep and get the one of the lambs and take the wool and put it on your body. See, Esau was hairy and Jacob was smooth. And Esau smelled like the wilderness outdoor, but Jacob smelled good. He smelled good. So she wanted him to go out there and get a little dirty. Put some wool on you. Your father is old in age. He's a little blind. He don't know who he's looking at, and that is your twin brother. So I'll make the venison, which is a meal that his father wanted. He said, because he told Esau to go out and get this meal and come back on in, and I'll bless you. So in other words, Jacob came in with the meal, and he stole his brother's blessings. He stole his brother's blessing. And when Jacob came in for the blessing, it was already gone. And we find out that, when Esau came in for the blessing, we found out that it was already gone. And then Esau wanted to kill his brother. Esau wanted to kill his brother. So their father, Isaac, sends Jacob away to live with his uncle out the country. And while Jacob was on his way, he fell asleep and dreamed the dream. And in his dream, God appeared to Jacob and told him the same as he told his father Isaac and the same as he told his grandfather Abraham. God told Jacob that his seed too shall be the dust of the earth and shall spread abroad the west and shall go from the east and shall be in the north and shall be in the south. And in his seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. But then watch this. He told him, I am with thee, and I will keep thee in all places wherever you go, and I will bring you back into this place where you left. He said, I will not leave you until I have done all I have spoken unto you. So you talk about dislocated. Jacob right there was being dislocated to that what he was familiar with. He was being dislocated. He had to go to another place and where he was being forced to go. Why? Because someone was out to kill him. I'm talking about dislocated to be put in the right place. Jacob was gone for about 20 years. Because when he got there, he met his wife. And if you be in Sunday school, you may have heard that he was with one for 7 years. He had to owe 7 years to his uncle for one of the daughters. Then he had to owe another 7 years for the other daughter. And he ended up spending about 20 years with his uncle in a whole nother foreign land. I'm talking about dislocated to be put in the right place. Jacob was dislocated all from everything he knew to a land he had no idea of. He was in a new location, dislocated to be put in the right place. And while he was in that land, guess what? He increased tremendously. The Bible tells us that he married twice. He ended up having 12 boys and one girl. And he ended up increasing exceedingly and had much cattle and maid servants and manservants and camels and flocks of sheep. He had everything. He was doing good. He had donkeys and all. And now he had gotten all what he could have from that place where God had sent him from. See, he'd been dislocated, but he gained the knowledge of what he had to gain. And he gained whatever it was that he had to gain to be prepared to go back. As I talked about last week, the deliverer in the midst of the enemy, when Moses was gone 40 years right here, then he was 40 years over there, and then he went back to get the people because he had to go back to where he came from. He got dislocated because he too was forced out. But then he got relocated back to where he came from, and he grabbed those, and he went back out, and they went in the wilderness. Sound like Harriet Tubman. But he went out and came back. And now the time has come for God to send Jacob back to where he came from. Remember, he said, I will keep thee in all places wherever you go, and I will bring you back into this land. So now, 20 years later, it's time for Jacob to turn around and relocate back to his original land. It's time to be relocated. Daddy was, because he was once dislocated. Jacob had to go to a new location of unfamiliarity in order to receive what God had for him. Dislocated to be relocated. You know, we have to be lost in order to be found. So the only way to relocate something is for it to be dislocated. You see, there are times you have to be made to feel uncomfortable in order to receive your blessings. Let me say that again. Sometimes you have to be made to feel uncomfortable in order to receive your blessings. Let me put it this way. Sometimes you have to be dislocated in order to receive your blessings. There are some things that are forced upon you for your better good. I have to dislocate you so that you can come back stronger. I have to dislocate you because you wouldn't have done it if I wouldn't have made you uncomfortable. You wasn't going to go out there on your own. I've been telling you to go and go and go, but you won't go, so let me break you down so that you can go. I got to dislocate some things in your life. See, if Jacob wasn't dislocated from his home, he wouldn't have met his wife Rachel. If Jacob wasn't dislocated from his home, he wouldn't have met his wife Leah. If Jacob wasn't dislocated from his home, he wouldn't have had 12 sons and who became the 12 tribes of Israel. If Jacob wasn't dislocated from his home, he wouldn't have had the riches that he increased in. So you see, saints, sometimes your blessings are just waiting on you to get out of your comfort zone. And if you don't get out of your comfort zone willingly, you might just get forced out. You might get dislocated like Jacob. Jacob didn't relocate his home. He was forced to leave because his brother was trying to kill him. You see, when we move to a different location willingly, it's called relocation. But when we are forced out, it's called dislocation. But even though you were dislocated, it's for a reason. Sometimes you have to be dislocated to be put back in the right place. You didn't plan to lose your house, but thank God you did because there was a better house right around the corner. You didn't plan to lose your job, but thank God you did because the blessing of a better job came after the loss. You would have never walked off the job. I had to fire you. I had to dislocate you so that you could find a better job. You didn't plan on having any kids, but guess what? Those kids are the one that's taking care of you today. Your life has been dislocated for a purpose because you wouldn't have got out of your comfort zone on your own. So I had to make you uncomfortable so you could gain the things I've been trying to get you to gain. You see, Jacob didn't wake up and plan to go to his uncle's house in another country. He was dislocated. He was put out of his relative position by tricking his father and having his brother looking to kill him. Right. Right. And now all that he has accommodated, all that he had with him, God says it's time to relocate back home. Hold on, I didn't increase all this. I got these kids. I got to go back home. 20 years later, but now Jacob was still worried about his brother Esau that was out to kill him. But remember, God was with Jacob, and he was worried about his brother. Therefore, returning home, Jacob sent messengers out to meet his brother Esau, offering him donkeys. He offered him flocks. He offered him manservants. He was offering him maidservants. He was just offering a portion of everything he had so that he might gain some grace with his brother Esau. If I could just give him a portion of my riches, maybe he'd go ahead and let me go, and maybe he'd spare me and have a little grace. He divided them up in two so that if Esau come and kill one half, the other half can run and escape. I got to test this out. I'm going to go and send one army out first. If they don't succeed and they come back running, we know that Esau is against me. But if they don't come back running, we know that he accepted my gift. And so when he said, and when he get there, so when y'all get there, you see Esau, and he asks, what are these things? Say, it's a gift from your brother Jacob. Well, where's Jacob? Jacob is behind us. He way in the back. So Jacob sent people ahead of him because he was scared of his brother Esau. And so as Jacob sent his servants to Esau, the night fell and rose. And this is where our text picks up. That's where you get in. Because he sent his family away to hide them. He sent them ahead of him and all that, and he stayed back. But he stayed back for a purpose. The Bible says that Jacob was left all alone. But guess what? He's right where God wanted him to be. You see, sometimes in order to get your undivided attention, God has to isolate you. He has to remove you from all the distractions so that he can work on you, because it seems like you forgot who you are and whose you are. You dislocated yourself from God, and now he has to operate on you. You know, when the doctor goes to work on you in the surgery room, you're all alone. Well, he had to remove Jacob and isolate him so that he could work on him. Cut out all the distractions. So sometimes you have to go away to prison. Sometimes I have to make you sick because I got to get your undivided attention. You don't know how to do it on your own, so I got to make you uncomfortable. Because you won't get out of your comfort zone on your own, so I got to dislocate some things in your life. Here it is, Jacob is basically wrestling with God.
Yes, sir.
When he saw that the angel, this was an encounter with God, and when he saw he could not prevail against him, he touched the hollow of Jacob's thigh, and his hip went out of place. It got dislocated. And Jacob said, I will not let you go until you bless me. I'm not going to let you go until you bless me. Here it is, Jacob is basically wrestling with God, and his hip gets dislocated, but Jacob still doesn't want to quit. He's still holding on and says, I'm not letting go until you bless me. You see, Jacob was like some of us wrestling with God. We don't want to do what God wants us to do. We don't want to do it God's way. We want to do it our own way, but it's when we do things our own way that our lives get somewhat all dislocated. Because we don't want to listen to what God is telling us to do. We don't want to line our life up with the Word of God. But although it gets dislocated, I stop by to tell somebody to do like Jacob and hold on until God bless you. Yeah. How many of you in here, although your life has been dislocated, you're still holding on? Yeah. I know when you lost your husband, your life been dislocated, but you still, like Jacob, holding on. I know since your loss of your child, your life has been dislocated, but you like Jacob, you still holding on. I know since you lost your friend, when you walked out on your life, it seems like now life has been dislocated, but you still holding on. I know ever since your father passed on, life feels uncomfortable. It's been dislocated, but you still holding on. I know sometimes you done lost your brother, and it seems like everything in your life has been dislocated, but guess what? You're still here, and you're still holding on. I know ever since you lost your mother, your life been uncomfortable. It's been dislocated, but you're still holding on like Jacob to your faith. I know since you lost your job, your life has been dislocated, but you're still holding on to your faith. I know since you've gone away from school, it seems like things are dislocated in your life, but you're still holding on to your faith. I know when that sickness came and hit your body, you felt like everything was all broken and that your life has been dislocated, but guess what? You still holding on. You still got to hold on. Why? Until God bless you. Jacob said, even though I'm in pain, even though I'm uncomfortable, even though my hip is out of place, I'm still holding on until you bless me. God had told Jacob, I will keep thee in all places wherever he goes and will bring him back again into this land. He said he'll never leave you nor forsake you. And here it is, Jacob here was wrestling with God, and even when his hip was dislocated, he said he wasn't letting God go until he blessed him. How many of y'all willing to hold on to God unchanging head until God bless you? It doesn't matter how bad it gets. It doesn't matter the pain. It doesn't. You're willing to hold on until God bless you. Do I have anybody in here today that's holding on right now, that's going through some things? Amen, amen. Jacob wrestled all night when the morning came, and until the morning came, and the divine being said, let me go. But Jacob turned and said, I will not let thee go except thee bless me. And that day, Jacob held on. And that day, God said, your name is no longer Jacob, but your name will now be Israel. No more Jacob. You see, Jacob was a trickster. Jacob tricked his father. Jacob was a trickster. And then when he went out the land and he got dislocated, guess what? The trick fell back on him. Because the person he wanted to marry first, which was Leah, he worked all them years for, and Leah's father put them in a tent, and when they are in the tent, Jacob was drunk and drinking and partying, and he ended up going into Leah, and when he got up, he found out it was the wrong sister.
Yes, sir.
And then the daddy said, you said, my daughter, what you think, I'm going to give you my youngest first? I got to get my oldest out first. And so he gave him Rachel. And so he still wanted Leah. Am I right, Doc? He still wanted Rachel. But he gave him Leah instead. And here it is. He goes to the father and said, you tricked me. And the father said, you work for me another 7 years, I'll give her to you. So what he said? He said, I'll go ahead and work. But see, it got twisted and he had got tricked. See, sometimes God will have we do some things that we unaware, and then when they hit you, you say, oh, that's how that person feels. I don't know if you know the story of David. Remember David slept with Bathsheba? He stepped out and went out and he got all these women, but he took another man's wife. Got her pregnant and everything. And Jacob is a man after God's own heart. And Jacob is the king of Israel. And Jacob is having his own soldier. He had his soldier murdered so that it could look like I did this after this. But God knows everything and God sees everything. You see, because God knows your name. And what happened was a prophet named Nathan came to David and told him, what do you think of this? A man with all these sheep comes and one man don't have no sheep, and he comes and he steals a man's sheep after he got 100, and he takes this man one sheep. David said, oh man, we ought to kill him. Where he at? And Nathan said, you're that man. Right. You done took this one man's wife and you got all these wives. And that hit David, and David realized, and he fell to the face and said, Lord, forgive me. Restore unto me the joy I once had. He said, forgive me. See, sometimes we don't know what we're doing, and sometimes we get dislocated. We got to look out another lens in order to see ourselves. And that's what happened here. And that's what was going on with Jacob. Jacob was a trickster, but God said, you're no longer Jacob. You're no longer that old trickster no more, but now your name is Israel. For as a prince have died power with God and man and hath prevailed. Jacob is wrestling with God, and he prevailing all night. He's wrestling 12 hours or so, and he's wrestling, and he's still there, and then his hip get popped out. And he said, I'm not leaving until you bless me. That moment, that encounter was a spiritual awakening for Jacob, who now is Israel. And now that feeling of being afraid is gone. You know what he did? He got up. Because he got dislocated, he got relocated, he got up, and he went ahead of his family. He went ahead of that group, and he met his brother first. Because he remembered who he was and he remembered whose he was. So that encounter of God dislocating some things in our lives is to bring us back and check ourselves on who we are and who we belong to. In his encounter with Esau and his 400 men, Jacob passed over everybody, placing his family now behind him and being the leader that he was called out to be. I'm talking about being dislocated to be put in the right place. If it wasn't for Jacob wrestling with God and having his hip dislocated, he wouldn't have led the pack. You see, sometimes in your life, you have to be dislocated so that your spirit can be placed in its rightful place. When that fear creeped in on Jacob's life, and he started being scared of his brother, God said, hold on, and stepped in. In that situation of his hip being dislocated, he realized who he was and whose he was. Somebody in here today might be feeling dislocated from life one way or another. But I got news for you. I know a man that can help. He can help you get your life back on track. See, I know a man that's able to relocate that which is dislocated. Yes, sir. That which is relocated, that which is dislocated, he can put it back in its rightful position. His name is Jesus. You see, we are all born dislocated spiritually. We're all born dislocated spiritually because we were born in sin. Because of that one man's sin, we were all made sinners. But by one man's righteousness, by one man's obedience, we were all made righteous. Sin entered into the world when Adam bit of that forbidden fruit. And when he bit of that forbidden fruit, he got dislocated from the presence of God. He entered into that and got dislocated. He could no longer be in God's presence. But thanks be to God for relocating his only begotten son, Jesus. He relocated Jesus from heaven to earth. And he gave us his only begotten son. And Jesus willingly left. He willingly left to come and be a sacrifice for yours and my sins. And therefore, he's the navigator for us to get back on track. He's our navigator to relocate us back to where we come from. He's our navigator to lead us back to the Father. But all you have to do is open your heart and ask Jesus to move on in, and he'll start to navigate your life. You see, sin and God doesn't mix. When Jesus came and died on the cross, Jesus said, "Why have you forsaken me?" But that was the moment when Jesus had sin on him. He carried our sin and put on our sin. And God and Jesus don't mix. Jesus was humanity at the time. Because God and sin doesn't go together, just like oil and water doesn't mix. You can't serve two masters, because you would despise the one and hate the other. The Bible says that a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So you got to make up your mind today who it is that you will serve. But like I said, the disobedience of one man caused all of us to be sinners. But the obedience of one man named Jesus caused us all to be made righteous. So I wouldn't advise anyone to leave here today without being sure that your life is saved. That said, I'd like to extend the privilege of the church. The door of the church is open. Is there anyone here today that have not yet accepted Jesus Christ as your personal Savior? This is the time now. Because you see, we don't never know our last days. That's right. You know, just as people go on thinking they're having a good time, and something comes up and someone want to go out there and be foolish, and they want to start shooting. Well, you don't have no idea what's going to happen. You don't know if you leave out of this place today and something hits you outside and you pass away. So I wouldn't leave here today without making sure that my life is saved. The door of the church is open. Any day could be your last day here on earth. You best believe when you die, you're going to spend eternity in a new location. You're either going to spend eternity in heaven or hell. But the choice is yours. Jesus is the compass to heaven. Your way will send you straight to hell. Again, the door of the church is open. There's no one that want to come to Christ. There's no one that's looking for a church home. This can be your home. Once you accept Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, you're part of a universal church. But when you come on and join this church, you're joining the local church so that on a regular you can come and hear the Word of God. So is there anyone today that has not yet accepted Jesus Christ as your personal Savior? Are you coming to be restored? You may be looking for a church home. You may be looking for prayer. This is the time now. Come on up. The Holy Spirit is dealing with you and speaking to your son that He relocates you back to your original position. The Bible tells us there will be a new location, a new Jerusalem, a new heaven, where there won't be no more crime. There won't be no more pain. There won't be no more hunger. There won't be no more murdering. Matter of fact, the lions will be able to lay with the lamb. You're going to walk around on gold roads, being able to see a reflection. I'm talking about your new location when you leave this place. But if you don't make sure you got your key, if you don't make sure you got your ticket, then guess what? Your new location going to be in hell with your father, Satan. I'm talking about a new location, but the only way you can get there is by having a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. He's here today waiting on you to come on up here and receive the key to the gates of heaven. Be relocated back to where you come from. I tell you, it's better to relocate from earth to heaven than to get dislocated from earth to hell. It's better to be relocated from earth to heaven, because that's something you want to do literally, than being dislocated from earth to hell. Talk about a new location, y'all. The door of the church is open. Is there one? Is there another? Is someone coming for prayer? Or someone coming to join this church? This could be your church home. The chairs are ready for you. The door of the church is open. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man coming up to the Father but by me. Jesus said, I am the key. I am the Alpha. I am the Omega. I am the beginning. I am the end. Talking about. location. Amen. Praise the Lord. Give God some glory. Amen. Dislocated to be put in the right place.